I do tell myself, this is a brief moment in time. They're 8 and 4. What? My son's going to stop wanting to hang out with me when he's 12. He'll be too cool for school and hang out with his friends. My daughter, I'll have her for a little bit longer. But probably when she's like 10, 11, she'll start doing all her gymnastics and be with her whole group of girlfriends, going to sleepovers and tea parties, if that's even a thing they still do. So it's like, I also keep in mind, this isn't a forever thing. This is a right now situation. We're going to be okay.
Welcome to Startup Dad, the podcast where we dive deep into the lives of dads who are also leaders in the world of startups and business. I'm your host, Adam Fishman. I'm joined today by Alex Medick. He's the first marketing hire and head of marketing for AI infrastructure company TensorWave. Prior to that, he was the president and chief marketing officer of Inside.com. Alex is a single dad of 2 kids, a perspective I was very excited to be able to share on the show. On today's episode, we talked about life as a single dad, how he talked to his kids about separation, and his number one motto, give yourself some grace. We talked about balancing new school and old school parenting, some of the hilarious stories from his life as a single dad, and the most surprising things he's discovered as a dad. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation with Alex Medick. And if you like what you hear, please subscribe on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or your favorite podcast player so you never miss a weekly episode. Welcome, Alex Medick, to Startup Dad. Alex, great to see you today. Thanks for joining me on the show.
Of course, Adam, thanks so much for inviting me.
I am really excited to talk to you today. You are a single dad of an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old. And you're also the first marketing hire at an early stage VC-backed startup called TensorWave. Now, I imagine if you drew up your life plan, this was probably not the way you had envisioned it. Single dad, demanding job. But here you are, and you're making it work. And so tell me about life as a single dad at a startup.
Did I ever expect myself to work at a startup? No, not really. That was on the life plan. Definitely being a single dad of 2 kids under 8 years old and under, absolutely not on the life plan. But you know what? Life kind of has a funny way of happening. Listen, I'm head of marketing at TensorWave, where we are announcing our Series A very soon. So by the time this comes out, we'll probably have some cool news about the company. But I was the first marketing hire here, and there's nothing more crazy than joining a startup and trying to be a single dad at the same time. I don't know what I was thinking, but once you kind of find your rhythm, life starts to get a little easier. You just have to really find your own rhythm. I am a single parent. I do split custody with their mom, which she only has them 1-2 days a week. So I am the primary caregiver, which is fun. If you knew how many times I've been on my AirPods, like holding a baby, rocking them to sleep while on a conference call with board members, your head would explode. It's chaos, man. But honestly, it's fun chaos. I don't know what else I would be doing. And it's life. You just got to roll with the punches and kind of figure out how it works for you.
Yeah. How old were your kids when you and your wife first separated?
Oh, so this was 3 years ago. So my daughter was very young. She was 1, maybe turning 2. And my son was 5 at the time.
Yeah. How probably was hard to talk to like a 1 or a 2-year-old about the situation. But I'm curious, how did you approach your kids with this? Like, how did you talk to them?
It wasn't an easy conversation. I'll say that. I cried like a little baby multiple times throughout this conversation. My daughter was so young, she didn't really comprehend. But my son, he was old enough to know what was going on. His name's Zephyr. So just Zephyr, mom and dad, we just aren't working together under the same roof, but we still love each other. We're still partners in all this. Life is going to be good. We're just going to try something a little different, but know that we're here and we'll always be around. And I made an extra effort for him to know. I actually, even on days I didn't have him at the start, I would pick him up in the morning to take him to school. I would pick him up from school, take him home, still take him all the activities. Like, I think I went the extra mile to know that even though I wasn't physically under that roof, I was literally there until bedtime, like hanging out with him. And then once he went to bed, I would go back and do my own thing. Mm-hmm. And we did that until he felt comfortable enough. And my daughter, she was young. She didn't really know because I was around for my son. I was still putting her to bed. Then eventually it started to become where I just wasn't there in the mornings a little bit. But then they were also with me so much that it really didn't matter. It all started to work out eventually. I think everyone got comfortable with it. And to be honest, I think my son actually really started to notice a happier thing because he's like, oh, well, there's not so much stress and anxiety around the household anymore. When you're a startup dad, I was at a startup too when I got divorced. That was rough. I was actually working for Jason Calacanis at inside.com during that time. And that was a very demanding job. Going through the separation and getting the kids together, I kind of just didn't really know what to do except just forget everything else around me, just focus on my kids being cool. So it's just all about getting the next thing done. And over time, things start to work out as they are. If you ask me if I have a personal life, the answer is hell no. I do not have a personal life at all. But it's all good. It's for the greater cause, you know?
Yeah. Do you remember what questions your 5-year-old had when you told him about when you and your ex-wife talked to him about this? Was he like, how's this going to work?
I don't remember him having any questions where I was like, wow, that's smart. And why do you think, like, I think he was just soaking it all in and didn't really know what to do. So it was kind of like, hey, can I go play? Like, are we going to go play soccer? What are we going to go do? And that's what we did. I would always just try to tell him like, hey man, it's going to be okay. Trust me, life works out. And this is so negative against marriage. And I don't mean that to be, because I totally believe in marriage. But I was also like, listen, my parents are both divorced twice. The parents on his mom's side are both divorced. My grandparents are divorced. So like we don't really have a lot of known families around us. Even his 3 best friends, all their parents were separated. I think he could understand what was happening, but there wasn't any crazy life questions, but also he kind of saw the normalcy around a lot of it. So I think that might have helped. I don't know what that says for the state of marriage, specifically in Las Vegas, where I'm from. I think I was probably having a harder time with it than he was, to be honest, because all you see is like, holy crap, I'm not going to see my kids as much. Like, it was heartbreaking. Like, I can't leave this little dude all by himself and this little girl all by herself. But as I said, it all starts to work out and things normalize over time.
Yeah. And it sounds like you did a good job of kind of easing him into it too, where you were really present for most of that time, putting him to bed, being there in the morning, things like that. And then kind of slowly like shifted over time and established what like the new normal was for your kids.
My son was at school too. So of course this was happening right around summer break. So he actually came with me. He helped me pick out the place we live in now because I wouldn't be a part of it. So he helped me pick out my home. I let him decorate his room, got him all new furniture and whatnot. And then it was summertime, so he got to spend way more time with me than probably he just kind of hung out and never left for a while. So I think things got easy pretty quickly.
So I may be projecting a little bit here, but to me, because I've never done it, being a single dad sounds very chaotic and stressful. And you have, in some ways, described it to me as that, but you've also described it to me, lest I leave this out, as awesome and incredibly worth it. So if we set aside solo parenting for a second, how has your life changed for the better since you've become a dad?
Well, I can tell you the guy joke I tell everyone is to my guy friends. I'm always like, listen, my life's exactly the same. I just don't get yelled at 6 days a week now. It hasn't really changed that much to me, really. Like before, I was either working or being a full-time dad. And that's kind of what it is now. Like today, we're recording on a Tuesday, prime example. So he's with his mom today. But what I'm actually going to do is I'll leave work today at 4 o'clock. I'll pick him up. I'm going to go take him to soccer practice. We'll be at soccer practice till 9. And while he does that, I'll just work from my phone or my laptop in the little field or whatever. While the moms congregate on the soccer side, I'll be on my little chair on my laptop. And so I get to see him on days like that, which is cool. So I still try to take him to all of the activities. It's so hard because you don't have a life. And I think people that don't have kids understand what it's like when you have kids. The world just changes around you. And sure, I don't go to bars all the time. I don't go meet up with random people and go on crazy adventures, but I'm okay with that, man. I still wake up every day. I work out. I hang out with my kids. I make them all their meals. We do homework, read books. They're my little adventure buddies. I don't know the last time I've gone on something without them. I just strap my daughter on my back and we're going to soccer games, baseball games, hiking in Red Rock Canyon. I don't know, it's a new adventure. That's it. It's just life is a little bit different, but also, I don't know, what the hell was I doing before? Sitting by myself at a bar trying to meet a strange chick? Like, who cares? Life's okay, I promise.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
I laugh my ass off all the time. These kids are hilarious. And I think probably one of the reasons I work at a startup too is I'm a big kid. So it works out for me. So I get to have a lot of fun and push the boundaries a little bit too.
That's awesome. Now, you mentioned to me that one of your life mottos is give yourself some grace. Can you tell me more about what you mean by that?
There are so many things to do, so many checklists. Listen, I'm a big process checklist person. That's just like through work that is carried over into life. I'm so big on processes, procedures that sometimes you don't get to everything to the full extent. Between laundry, cooking food, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't make them a perfect balanced meal of freaking whatever, green beans and turkey and rice. And I just like, here's some frozen fish sticks. Eat up, kids, let's go. Or like there's pizza 2 days in a row because I went to too many birthday parties and I can't handle cooking anymore. Or sometimes you just get damn frustrated because you're like, I went to bed with 2 children saying, dad, dad, dad. I wake up, 2 kids going, dad, dad, dad. It's just a nonstop ticking. And sometimes you're just like, holy hell, I need some sort of reprieve. And I don't know, but you can't get too down on yourself because you're like, hey, I also look at it too. I start to look around at the other fathers I see around my kids' school or whatever. And I start to go, I'm around so much more than these other parents. I'm at every birthday party. I'm at most school pickups, every school event. I can't say that for a lot of the dads I see around. So I give myself grace knowing that shit's hard, but at least I'm trying. And hopefully when my kids are older, they'll look back and be like, hey, dad, he wasn't perfect, man. I'm a little crazy, got a little bit of anger issues, little narcissistic problems, but they'll look back and say, at least he was there and he tried.
Yeah. And it sounds like, if I add on to that motto, it's kind of like try to get it right just a little bit more than you get it wrong and be okay with that.
100%. To me, it's like, all right, you know what you didn't do right. Just like try to do a little better every day. And maybe also don't be so lazy because sometimes it really is just you being, I'm going to be lazy for 5 seconds if I get this little shortcut, but the shortcuts, they always eat at me. So it's whatever. Try to know you're doing way more than most people do. Look at anyone listening, look at your parents. You probably doing more than what they did. Everyone tries better than the previous generation. So you do what you do.
That is a very good perspective for sure. So we talked a little bit about parenting frameworks in the prep for this, and it didn't sound like you had any particular frameworks, but you do have some beliefs about parenting, which I thought were pretty close to having a framework. What are your...
I have no frameworks, Adam. So I'm winging this nonstop.
Well, what are your parenting beliefs? What are the ways that you try to live by, or sort of the principles that you try to live by when it comes to parenting?
Try to show your kids just as much love as possible. Know you're there for them. Always be kind. Try not to get down on yourself and don't let them get down on themselves. Always just be there, be happy, and keep trying to be motivating and keep the party going. The other thing is, I guess just relax and keep trying. Try hard. Like that's kind of it. Just always try. Don't give up. Even on days where you can't get to where you want to go or work is just beating you down. For example, like even this morning, I woke up, my alarm goes off at 6:30 every morning, and my first phone call was 6:45 a.m. So I'm getting the world ready with my AirPods on, having a PR meeting, immediately followed by a board meeting that's going on in the room next to me right now. Life gets crazy, especially at a startup. Keep going. Like everyone knows what to do. Just do the next right thing and don't quit and just show up for your kids, man. I think being there, listen, my kids are young, so who knows? I could be screwing them up entirely when they're 20. I'll probably pay for so many therapists. Like it is what it is. I think if you just keep showing up and you keep showing love, it's all going to work out in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. There was another thing that you mentioned to me, which is, and I'm going to paraphrase it a little bit,
yeah, please.
But it was the thing that sounds the most sucky is probably what you need to do as a parent to give your kids the best experience. So what does that mean? Tell me more about that one.
Well, hey, before the call, we were talking about a little bit. Here's my most recent sucky thing. Both my kids were on spring break. I have family that lives in Chicago, Illinois. And so do I want to fly halfway across the country with 2 screaming children that just want to beat the crap out of each other nonstop when they're not with their friends? Fly in an airplane that was delayed 7 times at the airport, might I add. Surviving that flight, landing at 2 a.m, driving an hour outside to Clarendon Hills, Illinois, so I could get to my sister's house, and then wake up at 6 a.m. Chicago time for her kids to wake up and wake me up and be uncle. Do I want to do that at all? Would I rather honestly smoke a joint, have a glass of wine, and go to bed? Fuck yes, I would. But the kids had a blast, and it's not that bad. You just got to power through the parts where you're like, that sounds horrible. Just keep doing it. Another example is Easter weekend was not that long ago. If you're a parent, you know who Blippi is. I live next to the Las Vegas ballpark here in town where the Aviators and sometimes the now Las Vegas A's will play. There was Blippi and Mika night. Did I want to go stand in a line with 700 kids to go meet Blippi and Mika? Absolutely not. It's my damn nightmare, but I bought us the tickets. It was, honestly, we had the best time ever. It was a front row. I even was able to cheat and get us to the front row. It was fantastic. But like, those things suck. That's not how I want to spend my Saturday nights at all. But hey, everyone had a blast, and I got to watch a little bit of baseball. I got to hang out with my kids. They had a blast. So what does it matter, man? As long as the kids have a good time, that's honestly all you're going to remember at the end of the day. You're not going to remember the hard things. Like, I'm not going to remember all the layovers. I'm not going to remember the fights about who got the coloring book or who got the iPad at what time. They had a blast. And I know in a few years, that's what I'll remember and that's what they'll remember.
Yeah. It's funny how sometimes that stuff that seems super painful and frustrating at the time ends up becoming the subject of a joke or something that you kind of look back on and laugh. You described yourself to me as being a bit more old school when it comes to parenting. Can you tell me about what it means for you to be an old school parent?
A lot of people I know do not agree with this parenting style. I actually think we live in a day and age where people are a little too coddled. And no offense if you do this, I actually think it's great, and the people that make it work are awesome. But I mean, I grew up, my dad was 50 when I was born. So he was from a different time where things were a little older. My grandparents were older. They were a little more stern and strict and direct. So I'm not exactly, hey, don't do that or you're getting the belt kind of strict. We're beyond those days. But I don't really coddle my kids that much. I'm like, no, this is what you did wrong. This is what we're doing. You say this, go apologize now. Like, I don't really do the, how's that make you feel? Let's talk about this in the quiet corner. I'm like, no, you did wrong. And as long as you live under my roof, here's how we're solving these issues.
Yeah.
And no, did I ever think I'd say, as long as you're living under my roof and I'm paying the bills? Is that a quote I ever think I'd say? Hell no. But have I said it very recently? Yes, I have.
It starts early, apparently.
It happens, man. And it flows out of your mouth when you least expect it. And then you sit back and you're like, damn it, I'm my parent. So what the hell just happened?
Everyone's parenting style is what works for them. You know, no judgment on people who do it different ways, as long as your kids are cared for and, you know, not abused and things like that. I think there is a bit of a more of a growing trend towards what you describe as old school parenting, but I think we've maybe over rotated towards like kind of coddling. There's been a lot of books and stuff written about this lately. And so maybe the pendulum's switching back a little bit, or we're just going to find that happy medium that's different than our parents' generation, but maybe a little closer to the middle.
Honestly, I'm actually thinking of a very specific example from this weekend. There was this giant trampoline park, and there's another dang birthday party from my kid's school. It's every weekend there's a birthday party. But I go there, and my son, we have a little motorcycle. I let him ride the motorcycle around the neighborhood. I don't care. He can jump off things, go have fun. And parents like, you let your kid do that? So that's preface. I give my son a lot of freedom. My daughter, she's 4. She just turned 4 yesterday. She's not that old. She hangs out with me a lot more. We do a lot more coloring and design work than we do anything else. But my son, him and his friends are jumping at a trampoline park. One of his friends falls, hits his knee to his face, cuts his lip open, and just starts crying for mom instantly. Doesn't know how to handle life, completely shuts down. The mom's panicking. She's like, how do I stop this bleeding? I was like, oh, first time? All right. So here I grabbed the towel, help out the kid. And my son, when he falls and gets hurt, he just goes, sorry, Dad, I'm okay, I'm good, and just keeps running on because we've just done it so many times. Like, you fall, man. We're boys. Let's go.
I also have a kid about your kid's age, a little bit older, but I want to hear a little bit about some of your chaotic stories of being a dad and a single dad. So I've got a list of them here. The first one is your son was diagnosed with asthma during COVID, but didn't actually have asthma. So tell me about that.
Listen, I still fight the doctors on this one. This was actually a really scary thing at the time, but it was wildly absurd to me. We have really bad seasonal allergies here in Las Vegas. My son never had them. It was COVID. We're all home all the time. So I'm in a little home office just working. And my son comes up to me and goes, Dad, I'm having a hard time breathing. I was like, interesting. So I said, just lay down on the bed. Let's watch some TV. Here's some water. I'm just going to sit next to you and work on my laptop. 30 minutes later, he goes, Dad, I'm just really struggling. I can't do this. So we're like, okay, let's call a doctor. Sounds bougie. Don't judge me. I have a concierge doctor. Doctor came over to the house and checked him, goes, your son has lung issues. He cannot breathe right now. We need to get him to an ambulance right now and go immediately to the hospital. So obviously I'm like, holy crap, call an ambulance, come over. We get in there, go to the hospital. And because it was a viral infection, they didn't know what it was at the time. It was considered a viral airborne problem. And it was during COVID. They put us in the virology, like seclusion room where he and I had to be quarantined. They're like, oh, sorry, you're not allowed to leave this room for 14 days.
Whoa.
And we just got there and I'm like, what do you mean? And like, no, one parent can go in there, but you cannot leave this room for 14 days. If you really want to stay in there with him, you can. So I was like, yeah, sure. So I grabbed my laptop and a little thing, grabbed some toothbrushes, and I went in this room and we literally camped out in this hospital bed for 14 days where every day I'm just looking at the nurses and be like, we do not have COVID. He had a breathing treatment thing. They gave him a nebulizer. Mm-hmm. He did that. We did every once in a while, but it's not the end of the world, but they wouldn't let us go at all. And that was one of those things in life you just don't expect, you don't want to see. And also, never in my life do I want to be quarantined in the hospital for 14 days again. That was a nightmare for me. I can't imagine for my son. Weird side note, my son loved it because you obviously had the IV drip in your arm during this time. He's like, Dad, what are they doing to me? And I didn't know what to say. So I said, son, I got to tell you something that your mom's not going to be too happy about. But I actually paid the doctors to give you a robot arm. So when comes 18, you have special robots going in your arm now, and you're gonna have a full strength robot arm when you're 18 years old. And he honestly to this day will go, Dad, I think I see it. Look at these muscles. It's coming, isn't it? I was like, when you're 18, we're gonna look at this kid. This kid runs more than anyone. If you told me he had a lung problem, like, Alex, don't forget his inhaler. I'm like, I just watched this kid run for 5 hours straight. Like, what do you mean inhaler? Like, he needs more to do. I need to give a hamster wheel for my house.
Being a single dad and traveling with 2 kids for vacations. What is like your most chaotic travel story? And then I'm curious if you have like a dad hack to kind of navigate these travel adventures.
We were actually trying to travel from Las Vegas to San Diego so we could go to, my sister was getting engaged. So we went to her engagement party. My son's still in diapers. First things first, I go Southwest. We give them all the tickets. Sorry, not kind of call Southwest. Lovely airline people. I get to the door. Ex-wife gets on. Baby gets on. Then I go for a ticket. They said, oh, sorry, we can't prove that you're the parent, so we won't let you on the plane. I was like, they're all under my name. Here's the birth certificate of my phone. And here's this like, sorry, if you don't pay a fee right now, we can't let you on this plane. So I bought an extra ticket. I got on the plane as someone not with the kid. It was the dumbest rule I've ever heard. I still don't understand this. So I still travel today with birth certificates because that will never happen to me again. But we go on, and you know when you're stuck on the runway, you just have to wait for permission to back up and take off. That took, I don't know, it just kept getting longer and longer. And my son, the second we got on the plane, crapped in his diaper. And I was like, all right, we just got to hold off until this plane's in the sky. I can go to the bathroom, change him, life's good. And you know how small airplane bathrooms are. So eventually, the smell was so bad, and he was getting so much worse. His diaper was just filling up. And I was like, oh my God, we're doing this right now. So I can't wait anymore. So we picked him up. I took him to the bathroom. I start changing him. And then on the speaker, I hear knocks on the door. And I was like, okay, 1 minute, guys, 1 minute. On the speaker, the captain announces to the whole plane, whoever's in the bathroom with a baby, you are preventing all of us from taking off and missing our connecting flight. So please get out right now. And I'm just like, what the hell is happening in my life right now? This is not what I wanted to be doing. I just want a quiet weekend in San Diego. And now I've spent $300 more than I wanted to. And the captain is yelling about my son that I can't control his diaper situation, man. What do you want? I'm looking out for the greater good of the people here, not to live on the smell.
That's amazing. The captain called you out on the plane.
It was on the speakerphone, and people like kind of moaned and looked at me when I opened the door. They're like, ugh.
You're already stressed because your kid is just, doing something ungodly in his diaper, and then the captain decides that he's going to call you out.
if another dad's listening to this, man, if you know a blowout, like you don't want to deal with a blowout in an airplane bathroom. It's a nightmare. And that was the first time I flew with my son. And I was like, I don't think we're ever going to do this again. I'll never leave my house. This is it.
Now that you've traveled a bunch with kids, especially now as a solo dad, when you're outnumbered on a flight, you've got your 8-year-old and your 4-year-old, any dad hacks or anything that you can think of, maybe for flights or for car trips or anything like that, that's come in handy for you?
I just try to keep them entertained and separated as much from out realizing how close they are to each other's space. One, I'm always in the middle seat now. I have to keep someone separated. And my backpack, when I would travel so light, just like a hat in my backpack, an iPad, a book for me to listen to, whatever. Now it's literally coloring books, drawing things, candy, hand sanitizer wipes, everything under the sun. The Jolly Ranchers really help. That's so silly. I know, don't give your kids too much candy and whatnot, but Jolly Ranchers not only keep them entertained, it also helps with the ear popping and pressurization going up and down. So it's very helpful. A lot of coloring books, and just pay for the Wi-Fi on the plane so your kid can like draw something on the iPad or watch YouTube Kids or download Khan Academy. So like my daughter, I have Khan Academy on my iPad. So she's always like just doing some sort of educational game where, I don't know, my son, this last trip, he's all cool guy wearing the over-ear headphones, bumping Kendrick Lamar on his iPad. I'm like, what the hell's happening?
There was a good nugget of wisdom in there, though, which is the Jolly Ranchers helps with the ear popping. That is something that I did not know.
I read once that the sucking actually helps with the ear pressurization. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. So they think they're stoked because they're getting candy. But yeah, I bring so many things just to keep everyone so entertained. And it is not relaxing for me. Actually, the kids make fun of me right now because I bought a book at the airport to read on the last flight because I was so bored and we were waiting so long. I bought a book and I'm still only on like the second page because every time I'd open the book to make, Dad, help me with this, I'd put it down. Dad, with this. And so they make fun of this. Whoever wrote Everyone on This Train is a Suspect. My kids think it's a hilarious book because I've never been able to read this book. But it sits on the coffee table and we all look at it every day like I'm gonna read it.
Okay. Tell me about the challenges of doing a 4-year-old girl's hair for you.
Adam, this is the bane of my existence. You would not think doing a girl's hair is the worst thing in your life. It is the worst thing in my life. I cannot wait to the day she is old enough to start doing her own hair, doing this. I never want to do it again. I don't know how to brush long hair. You start from the bottom to the top. They're screaming at you. You can never get the braid right. I don't know how to freaking twist. I don't know all these weird clamps and butterfly things. I had them everywhere. And all I hear is how bad I'm doing at it. And then I take my daughter to school. And by the time we get to school, she looks like she's been in a freaking bar fight. And I was like, look at all these little princesses running around. And my daughter looks like she just jumped out of a freaking cage match and just here to take on the world. It's a nightmare. I try so hard. If you knew how many YouTube videos I've watched on how to do girls' hair, and I still don't get it. It's a nightmare, and I know I'm going to survive until she's only 4. Fuck, I got to wait till she's like 13. They're doing her own hair. So yeah. I got a few years left, but I'm trying, man.
Okay, so my last thing is I understand that you are also a soccer dad. Does that mean that you are screaming on the sidelines? What does that mean for you to be soccer dad?
Oh, yes. Well, first year soccer dad, I thought I was going to be a cool guy and coach my son's team. That will never happen again. Done. Done. That was like my son was in kindergarten, so it's like a bunch of other kindergartners that don't want to listen to you. And if anyone from my son's school ever hears this, I don't want them to be pissed at me. But listen, I'm 38, 6'3", 195. I go to the gym every day. I really work out and exercise. I'm always active. Every dad there is like beer belly, barely playing golf, polo shirts, balding, 5'5". It's like a whole thing. And so all the kids look at me to go, holy crap, an adult that can actually run and play with me. So I become fun dad every time I'm with these kids. That was a nightmare. All the kids were like, oh, he's just here to chase us and play soccer. And it was a nightmare. I will never do that again. But now I'm just fun on the sidelines. Let's be supportive, father. Yes, I know every kid's name. I help support them. Like I have my little wagon and my rocking chair. We had the blanket. I'd go back for my daughter to play on the picnic blanket. Well, I'm there running up and down the sidelines saying, that open shot, let's go. Like I'm always like, way to go, Juan, way to go, Owen. Like I try to cheer on the whole team, try to help them. If they're like one kid's sad, I always walk over. I'm like, hey, here's how you can do this next time. Here's how you win. Like I'm sure I overstepped my place way too many times. I've only gotten into one argument with another parent. That was the most embarrassing time in my life. I actually still really regret it, but he pissed me off so much that I actually lost my temper in front of the kids. There's a clear delineation of when parents go from my kids are hanging out, having fun soccer to it's now competitive. And I found out that age is like 6, 7, 8.
Okay.
7, 6 years old, 5, 6. Everyone's so chill. Look how adorable these little kids are chasing the ball. 7, 8. There's parents out there like yelling at their kids to do better, what they're doing wrong, and screaming. And I'm like, holy crap, I'm not trying to scar my children for life, man. I just want to be supportive and all there. This was last season. A dad brought out a megaphone, and my son's name is Zephyr, and I think his number was like 8 or something like that. He goes, get that number 8, that piece of crap keeps kicking everybody, blah. And I lost it and was pretty much said, you need to stop or I will make you stop. Not so much in those kind of words where commissioners and referees had to get involved. I might have gotten ejected. It was an interesting time, and that was my biggest regret as a soccer parent.
Okay. What did your son think of dad going to bat for him on the sidelines there?
He thought it was the funniest thing he's ever seen in his life. He's like, Dad, you should have taken that guy out. That was hilarious. And I was like, no, son, that's not how we act. I am so sorry. Like, that was embarrassing. I should have been cooler about it. And so I have to obviously apologize to my son, let him know it's okay. I told the whole team, when they're all at the next practice, guys, I'm sorry for how I acted. I didn't like how that guy was talking to us, and I should have been better about it. So you got to humble yourself and apologize to all these children. We were also like, damn it, children, I thought I didn't have to apologize to people anymore. I'm 38 years old. You guys are 7.
Good recovery, though. It sounds like you made a good recovery there with the kids. So do you have to parent differently now that you're a solo parent and often 1-on-2 with your kids than you did when you were married? Is that parenting dynamic changed for you?
I would say it has changed slightly in the fact where there's no one else to lean on. I can't be like, hey, can you talk to our son about this? There used to be kind of a good cop, bad cop scenario. Now it's either dad's being awesome or, oh crap, we got in trouble real quick and everyone's in trouble real quick. That part, I feel like that's missing, where it's like, you just kind of get the wrath and the coddle kind of the side of it. And now it's kind of just like me with all the wrath until I calm down and I'm like, oh guys, let's move forward together as a group. So I think that part, that's been a tricky dynamic. And also they're at the age now, like I just said, my daughter's 4, my son's 8, they're at the age now where they fight all the time. So it's like you're trying to separate the two when they want to fight, like her foot's in my doorway, or why is Zephyr looking down the hall at me? I'm like, oh my God, I can't keep you guys in 2 separate houses. This is crazy. But hey, we work through it. And also I do tell myself, this is a brief moment in time. They're 8 and 4. What? My son's going to stop wanting to hang out with me when he's 12. He'll be too cool for school and hang out with his friends. My daughter, I'll have her for a little bit longer. But probably when she's 10, 11, she'll start doing all her gymnastics and be with her whole group of girlfriends, going to sleepovers and tea parties, if that's even a thing they still do. So it's like, I also keep in mind, this isn't a forever thing. This is a right now situation. We're going to be okay.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we're in a really interesting time with technology right now. I mean, you work for a tech company. You've worked for many of them. Your kids use technology or are beginning to. How do you think about the relationship you want them to have with technology as they get older and start exploring more?
So I believe technology should be obviously part of your life. You cannot escape it. It's going to be in the future. I know there's some parents that always go like, oh, I don't want to be an iPad mom or whatever. Listen, it kind of is what it is. I use technology not just to entertain, though. It's a lot of education. So my daughter only has educational things. I have an iPad at the house that they share. There's only educational things on there she can do. And YouTube Kids with very hard parental settings set. So it's mostly educational shows. Or my son, because I work in tech. I'm a marketer. I'm not a developer. But a lot of the VP of engineering here at TensorWave, Kyle, the other day at lunch, he's like, Alex, you haven't taught your kid to start coding yet? You're going to fall behind. I'm like, get out of here, Kyle. This is absurd. My son, he thinks he has a phone. Actually, when I upgraded phones, I just did turn my old iPhone in and I swiped it of everything on there. And now there's 2 kid programs he can use. So he has my old iPhone 12 Pro or something like that, has Apple Music and YouTube and some Minecraft. So he thinks he's has technology. I want to be a part of their lives. I want them to know that it's cool. It's out there for information and technology. I show my son all the time cool things like when we ask a question or he wants to know something, I was like, well, hey, let's ask Perplexity and learn the history of this and stuff like that. So we'll actually use technology to learn and keep growing. But also I'm very big on, I hate being inside. Me personally, I work so much that I'm on a computer nonstop, or I'm always on my phone, or my watch is going off with some new stat I got to do, that I love to be outdoors and be active. So I make sure we're always trying to do something that's not technology focused. If staying home and sitting on the couch for me is like, we're sick and something bad's happening. If not, we need to be hiking, we need to be swimming, we need to go to a baseball game, we need to play soccer, do anything but technology. So I think that there needs to be a nice, happy world of use it to inform and entertain, and then also go out and see the world, explore the world, and know that the world's not through a phone. That's crazy town. I don't know. I feel like there has to be a nice complement in life where it's not all technology all the time. But with that said, I definitely use technology as a crutch when I'm really busy. I'm like, please, I got to get this done. Take my phone, go watch whatever you want. I need to get this done. So sometimes it also is my built-in babysitter, which sucks. But hey, it is what it is.
Every so often, you got to give yourself some grace. So we talked about some of your parenting principles, but you also had some pretty inspiring just life principles. Can you share a few of those with me?
They all revolve around kind of a basic things, which is embody life with love, zen, empathy. Always try your best to be calm, kind. I really try hard to be the stoicism side, like always know what's in and out of your control, know what to like argue against, what not to, like what can you really change by having a bad attitude about something. And also know that everyone has a problem that you don't see. So be empathetic, just in life in general. So try to have love, calmness, zen, and empathy with everything. Another one, definitely go all in on everything that you do. I heard this from Christopher Lochhead one time. He is a former CMO, and I used to ask him for advice all the time, especially when I started getting more professional executive marketing role. And when I was talking about career, he said something to me. It's actually my first CMO role. And I went to ask him, I asked like, hey, what do you do? Should I go to this role? Should I do this? And he goes, Alex, in life, think about in life, the average career is like what, 5-7 years. So in the course of a working life, you only get 7 real swings at bat. If you have 7 swings at bat, what's the point of doing something half-assed? Go all in, or just don't even bother showing up. And you're like, yeah, like you get 7 chances to really make something cool work. So just go all in on it. Even if it's an experiment, you're scared, you're nervous, just go all in and dive in. Don't hold back, because what's worse is always having that, man, if I only did this, I probably could have made that work. It's better just to leave it all on the table. If it works, hell yes. If it doesn't, we tried. I'm still here. People are still breathing and eating. We're good. So I keep doing that. I actually think about this when I was a kid. Like people used to say things to me and I just took it at face value. Like, yeah, that's cool. But also, as I got older, I realized that we're all just making it up as we go. Some people actually have really good insights that just because they've done it a few times, or they've like read about something in a book. But I would say 99.9% of the time, we're all just making it up and going with our best guess. So question everything and be wildly open-minded about it. Like, hey, so this might not work. I don't believe this, but here's why. And then when I say be wildly open-minded, if someone's like, here's an idea that I want to try, don't cut them off because of your disbeliefs or like you didn't come up with the idea or something. Be open to accepting ideas or inspiration from anywhere. Anyone can have a great idea. Not everyone can execute it. That's a different story. But be wildly open-minded, because like, don't be closed off in your little box. There's a whole world out there that you don't know, that we don't understand. I really try to do that. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of it, is question everything. Don't be afraid to shoot for the moon, and do your best to be calm, kind, and empathetic.
Yeah. Oh, love those. Those are some really great principles to end our conversation with. Last thing for you, how can people follow along or be helpful to you in any way?
Well, listen, I used to be a cool social media blogger guy, not so much anymore because my world is kids or trying to grow TensorWave, the AI and HPC cloud. I would be remiss if I did not plug that at all. I mean, hey, follow me, AJ Medick on X, formerly Twitter. And then, I don't know if anyone ever needs anything, ajmedick@gmail.com. Shoot me an email. I'm more than happy to shoot the shit specifically about dad stuff too. Always down.
Okay, cool. Well, with that, let's get into our lightning round. Very simple. I ask you a question and you say the first thing that comes to mind. And like everything with a show, it's a judgment-free zone. Although I may laugh, not going to lie. Are you ready?
Let's go.
All right. What is the most indispensable parenting product that you have ever purchased?
A sound machine.
What is the most useless parenting product that you've ever purchased?
Those stupid diaper changing like things you put on tabletops that they sell for like $100 that's supposed to keep the baby so cool. You will never use it in your life. Don't waste the money.
Okay. What is the weirdest thing that you've ever found in your kids' pockets or in the washing machine?
Honestly, it's always just some sort of candy wrapper. You know, one time I found a washed $100 bill in my son's jeans.
Whoa.
And I was like, yo, what the hell are you doing?
Whoa.
Where'd you get $100? Can I have it?
His side hustle.
Yeah.
Selling his Jordans, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
True.
I think what he did, I think he tricked grandma into giving him a little gift or something like that. But hey.
All right, true or false, there's only one correct way to load the dishwasher.
Very true.
Okay. And it is your way, I imagine.
1,000%. There's a very organized method to dishwashing.
Yes.
I'm actually, all right, listen. I have a very specific way of cleaning the dishes, organizing the dishwasher, and we go from there. And that's the perfect way, if anyone's interested.
Hey, you mentioned that life is chaotic. There's got to be something small that you can have control over.
Yes,
so,
the cleanliness of the dishes, how they're washed and organized and put away is something I very much control.
Okay. What is your signature dad superpower?
Just being fun all the time and making every kid around me have a great time.
If your kids had to describe you in one word, what would it be? Would it be fun?
It'd probably be silly, yeah.
Silly. Okay. All right. Crazier block of time in your house, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. or 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.?
6 a.m. to 8 a.m.
Okay. What is the funniest thing that one of your kids has ever said in a public setting?
I can't think of anything right now, to be honest with you. But my son says the wildest things. The other day, we were at a baseball game, and he just goes, I said, hey, do you want a hot dog? And he just goes, come to Papa. And I'm like, what the hell? Where does this even come from? Whose child are you?
That's amazing. Okay, what is your go-to dad wardrobe?
I am not a fashionable gentleman. I'm wearing collared shirts, jeans, and shoes. Then on the weekend, you'll see me wearing jeans, t-shirts, and flip-flops.
Okay. What is your go-to bribe for good behavior in your house?
I don't really have a good behavior bribe. I just say, here's everything we're taking away.
How many dad jokes do you tell on average in a given day?
Oh, I'd say at least 5 or 6.
Okay. Do you have a favorite?
I don't. I guarantee one will come to me after
Here.
this. Actually, I'm looking to find right. I see my little pod of like desks that sit around me.
Yeah.
And they always know I will say a good dad joke whenever it pops in my head.
Okay, I've got one for you right now. Who oversees all of the tissues in the house?
Who?
The handkerchief.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
All right. Actually, that was a terrible one. But
I love a good dad joke.
Okay.
They're ridiculous.
What is the most absurd thing that one of your kids has ever asked you to buy for them?
A McLaren.
Pretty absurd. What is the most difficult kids' TV show that you've ever had to sit through?
I really fought Sesame Street a lot, but they started making pretty parent fun, that got nicer over the years. I would say Blippi or anything that's like 8-year-old my son watches. These kids love watching other kids play video games these days. And if I hear another YouTube streamer, I'm going to break the TVs in my house. I cannot hear any more like streamers, kids. That's insane to me.
Has your 8-year-old discovered Unspeakable yet? That's another one.
Oh, I'm big on the unspeakable. We actually do the unspeakable dance around my house. We just do that all the time.
Okay, what is your favorite kids movie?
That's a great one. I actually would say Moana. That's a lovely movie.
Excellent. Is there a nostalgic movie from your childhood or adult life that you just can't wait to force your kids to watch with you?
Oh, it's 1,000% Ghostbusters with the original one, Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd.
Yes.
And oh my gosh, who passed away? I can't remember his name right now. But
yes. Okay. What is the worst experience you've ever had assembling a kid's toy or a piece of furniture?
definitely furniture, because I get so frustrated. They're breaking pieces. Then I have to go figure out my own piece to do this. I'm immediately thinking of like dressers, or like my daughter has this dang vanity mirror set with these lights around it and whatnot. I actually remember being up at like 2 a.m. the night before Christmas building this thing, like with my little Allen wrench, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, what is happening here? This is a nightmare.
How long can a piece of food sit on the floor in your house and you will still eat it?
0. The The second it's on the ground, if a dog hasn't eaten it before I get there, it is up, trash. I have, again, weird germ organizational issues. So I probably have one of the cleaner households you've ever seen with 2 kids. Actually, if you walked in my house and didn't see the little kid things everywhere, you probably wouldn't think kids lived there.
Okay. Wow. Impressive. Final question for you. What is your take on minivans?
All right. I never wanted a minivan. I think they're ridiculous. I don't want one personally, but I've heard people say nothing but amazing things about them. Specifically, I remember the first time I almost came to buy a minivan when I saw one had like a built-in vacuum in the back seat. I was like, oh, okay, now we're talking. I can get behind this, but I'm not going to do it, man. The closest I'll go is I'm a truck, and that's like the closest I'll get to minivan, as long as it's 4 doors. But the kids are very aware that the second they can fit in the backseat of a Porsche, dad's getting a Porsche or they're freaking walking. So this is a known thing in my household.
Okay, we're going no minivan, but yes on the Porsche. All right.
Yes, these kids, I have to have something, man.
Something.
Like, there's got to be something for me.
All right. Well, Alex Medick, thank you so much for joining me on Startup Dad today. It was, I laughed a lot in this episode. This was a great conversation. And I wish you and your family all the best.
No, I appreciate it. Adam, thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to today's conversation with Alex Medick. Startup Dad is available in all your favorite podcast players and YouTube. Just search for Startup Dad to find it anywhere you listen to podcasts. Thanks for listening, and see you next week.